guys, welcome back. I am still out of town for Gen Con, but I had a really interesting conversation with a friend earlier and it gave me a good idea for a new video. So I wanted to take a few minutes to tell you guys my top 5 things that I hope Wizards will improve for MTG Arena. I put together this list not only for improved gameplay or coverage, but also just for like general navigation of the client and just things that I think will make MTG Arena a lot smoother in all aspects. But before we go ahead and jump into that top 5 list, I want to go ahead and thank the sponsor of this video, and that's Whatnot. Whatnot is an online platform that allows you to support your favorite content creators while picking up all of your gaming products. You can pick up Magic, Pokemon, all sorts of different packs and products, all while supporting your favorite content creator. But the promotion we're talking about today is very, very different. Whatnot has teamed up with Post Malone to give you guys a chance to be flown out to LA, challenge Post Malone in a match of Commander for $100,000. Whatnot is making this extremely accessible for everybody, even if you're not a hardcore Magic player, and they have hired people like Reed Duke to actually train you guys. 3 free training sessions with Reed Duke before you go out for your big battle in LA. Post Malone will be picking the winner on his stream on August 4th, and then the big challenge is going to be taking place on August 11th. But even if you guys don't win, don't worry, there is a mountain of prizes and giveaways for you guys to win on the 11th as well, just by hanging out and watching that stream. Down below in the info section of this video, I will include the link to enter as well as the link info page that takes you to Post Malone's channel so you guys can check out and win all of these amazing products. And if you guys are interested in trying Whatnot, I'll go ahead and include a link down below where you guys can download the app and get a free $10 for your first purchase. I will actually be doing my first Whatnot stream later this week, so you guys can check it out and open some sweet product with me. I'm going to be doing a ton of double masters, and I'm really excited. Big thank you to Whatnot and Post Malone for sponsoring this video, making it possible, but let's go ahead and jump back into my top 5. All right, number 1 on my list is basic lands. I really, really wish that we would get another little button here that would allow you to set your favorite basic land. We did get this with sleeves, which I feel like is very similar. When you go into your deck boxes, you can actually take a deck. You can get a unique sleeve for that deck, but you can also set a favorite or a default sleeve that will just be the sleeve that you get every time you create a new deck. I don't see why we can't get this with basic lands. Where this is a big problem is every single time a new set comes out, the default land changes to whatever your most recent land is that your account has had access to. So if I purchase a fancy, beautiful land set, or in my case, if I win like the Unglued in the marathon event, whatever that was, then it just defaults to the really crummy D&D lands with all the weird text on it that I actually can't stand. I feel like with the amount of basic land sets that Wizards is trying to get us to purchase every single month they're coming out with a new set, they should at least allow us to pick and choose which sets we use. Now I will say every single time you make a deck, you can actively go in and search through all of your lands that you have access to and change them out, but this is a rather lengthy process. And for someone like me who, mostly drafts, I do this several times a day and I'm just not willing to put in the effort for it. But as you guys can see, there is a lot of different ones. And right now my default is actually very ugly. And this is by far one of my biggest pet peeves for the client. So this particular topic is more just a quality of life and simplicity type issue where I just refuse to actually spend any money on unique fancy lands if I'm gonna have to actively put them in every single time and be annoyed. So yeah, just a quality of life, just a nice thing that I feel like they can implement into the client very, very easily. Moving on, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the economy. One of the biggest things I cannot stand about Arena is that you can't use your packs in limited or gameplay in any way. Similar to Moto where you get prize packs as support, then you can take them and re-enter into the draft and you just pay the difference. So what ends up happening for those of you guys who play limited, you end up with an entire set complete and just plenty of packs just floating about that you have absolutely nothing you can use it on. Full set completion for Strixhaven, I would love to keep drafting it, but when the bulk of your prize support is given to you in packs, and then those packs have a whopping total of 20 gems worth of value, 25 on average if you include a mythic, then it's, you know, a pretty sad day. And also kind of takes away some of the fun of drafting. You end up with all of the rares in the set, except for the, in this case, the Mystical Archives, but you just get gems as a refund, and now a lot of my incentive to continue to draft a format that I enjoy is down the drain, because you know that you're competing, the bulk of your product is a whopping total of 60 gems. So I wish that Wizards would give us something to do with all of these. If I could give these to my viewers, I would. I do have set completion on most of these sets. And yeah, I just wish that there was a little bit something else we can do with these packs. Much like my second wish for the MTG Arena client, my third wish is also about the economy. So one of the things that happens when you collect Magic cards, when in comparison to, like, let's say a Hearthstone card, is that they don't reprint a lot of cards. Now, with Arena being the most expensive online collector card game, you end up with this weird situation where you're paying top dollar for your packs. They're extremely expensive to get. But when they do these reprints, you have no way to avoid collecting multiple playsets. So, for example, Fabled Passage was reprinted back to back very, very quickly, and it did take up, 8 rare slots between the two. And this is just Fabled Passage. This is something that happens every single set with every reprint. Rares, of course, being the most expensive of these, but for example, let's look at a card like Opt. How many different Opts do you need? I currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different printings of the card, 4 of each, and there is no dusting system or rare protection system to prevent this from happening. Wizards of the Coast can go ahead and print 10% new cards in a set, reprint everything else, and sell you the entire pack and force you to get complete set completion, which is incredibly expensive and difficult to deal with as far as the economy goes. So my third wish for the MTG Arena client is to find some way to protect players from this duplicate issue. I absolutely understand that Wizards doesn't want to do a dusting system, but I feel like if you have 4 copies of a card, you should definitely not be forced to collect 4 more copies of it before getting to, put those extra packs to something else, or even to gems, just so you can continue to draft. With that said, though, that is my last economy wish. My next wish is actually about competitive and OP Magic. And no, I don't mean overpowered, I mean organized play. One of the things that we would definitely benefit from is having a spectator mode. This is something we have on Moto, this is something we have on Hearthstone. Basically every single CCG out there, we can have people watch our games via friends list. Oftentimes you cannot see either player's hands. This would be absolutely fine. I don't think that this would be a problem, and we've had a lot of paper coverage where we were not able to see the player's hands, and I think that that is fantastic and fine. So it would allow us to have a lot more online tournaments and make Arena more accessible to more people if coverage was good. We oftentimes don't see sponsors coming in to create events because there's no way for that to pay off in any major way. And having access to good coverage, or being able to create good coverage, would bring those sponsors to the table and allow organizers like my team, DGen Gaming, and others to create events for players and get, more things on the docket, get a wider range of different formats, and just so you can do anything you want every single weekend. I feel like there's really no reason why we shouldn't have organized play at this point. It's something that has been figured out for other card games, including MTGO, for years. So let's go ahead and get spectator mode on the client, and let's get more competitive online OP going. And speaking of OP, let's go ahead and get to my very last wish for MTG Arena, and that is to expand Explorer to Pioneer. We are only missing a handful of cards from the premium decks, and we actually did just get a few of them, but I think, with the addition of 20 or so cards, we could have a pretty good, thorough Pioneer format. And if you're going to change a format like Explorer and, kind of upset people from the historic community by developing Explorer and Alchemy and all of that. I think that should have gone hand in hand with the addition of Pioneer onto the client to make sure that the players from historic have a place to go without needing to deal with the alchemy side of things. Now, eventually we did get Explorer, but Explorer is still leaving a lot to be desired, and I feel like the community as a whole is still pretty unhappy. But even if you ignore that the community is unhappy, we can also say that Wizards of the Coast has put a huge emphasis on Pioneer for OP moving forward. The path to all top-end Magic, really, especially paper, even Moto tournaments, have been declared to be Pioneer, is kind of the place Wizards wants people to be right now. And your client, MTG Arena, will only grow if people can actually practice the formats that they need to compete in your top-end Magic. Now, I know mostly casual players are going to be on Arena. That's where the whales are. That's where the money is. But I don't think it would hurt to have Pioneer in addition on Arena. It would only be a benefit, and it would definitely help keep your competitive players happier within the client. Just taking a look at the list, like I said, there's about 20 or so Pioneer staples that we could use that would really bring a lot of those decks from Pioneer onto Arena. Monastery Swiftspear is one of the major ones. We also have Nykthos, the shrine here, which is really keeping mono green from being able to go toe-to-toe in Explorer, unfortunately. But once Shrine of Nykthos makes it onto the client, now we have a wide range of different green decks that we could be playing. And again, a couple, 20 cards or so would really bring most of the Pioneer format to Arena. Now, I will say we did just get a bunch of new cards with the new Explorer anthologies, but it's not quite enough. And unfortunately, they kind of filtered in the useless cards in with those anthologies, and I think that's because they want to dilute the cards that we need and ensure that we pay this 4,000 gems multiple times. But Elvish Mystic is a card that we did finally get for Arena, as well as Supreme Verdict, which I think was a pretty big hit, as well as a couple of other headliners like Siege Rhino, Alesha, which is a Brawl card as well, pretty popular. So yeah, a couple of things. Oh, Tarmogoyf, which is a little less important for Pioneer as it is in Modern, but definitely cool to see it hitting the client as well. And that's it. Those are my top 5 wishes for the MTG Arena client moving forward. I am hoping we still have about half a year left, and I hope I can check some of these off of my Arena bingo card by the end of the year. I hope this list gave you guys a little something to think about, and I really encourage you guys to leave a comment down below with your top wishes for the MTG Arena client moving forward. I also want to take one more chance to thank the sponsor of the video, which is Whatnot and the Post Malone Adventure in LA. Make sure you guys click the link down below, check it out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. I'd like to end this video with a special thank you to those of you guys who have signed up for my Patreon. Without my wonderful patrons, none of this content would be possible. If you'd like to support this content and get your name up on the Wall of Fame, you can sign up for our Patreon by using the link down below in the description. Another way you can support the channel is by using code MNG5 with Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find cool stuff in stock. They have everything you need for Magic, board games, and any of your other nerdy hobbies.